Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the inaugural match of the Oceanic Esports Open Quarantine Cup, brought to you here by CappingTV. My name is Kit Fox, and it is an absolute pleasure to be one of your casters for this evening. We're going to be rolling with the same hero bands that are in Week 10 of the Overwatch League, but I'll leave my partner to introduce and inform you a little bit more about that. Like I said, I'm Kit Fox. I'm joined by the man himself, Cyber Waste. How are you going, my man?
Good evening, I'm doing very, very well, and thank you for being a hype man in the opening session for the OEOQ Cup, or Quarantine Cup as it is so known. As you did say, we have hero bands. They are based off of the week just gone for the Overwatch League, which is week number 10. And in the damage category, we have Reaper and Sombra out of contention. No divas in your tank line. They're going to be decommissioned for this week, and supports Ana will be sitting this set out. And now we've got the heroes that we can play as. We need maps to be able to play on, and I can give you a quick rundown for what we have in store. The opening map will always be a control type, which will either be Lijiang Tower, Oasis, or Busan. Then we move on to Hybrid, which is Kings Row, Hollywood, and Blizzard World. Then we move on to the next discipline, which is Assault, which involves Hanamura, Volskaya, Industries, and Rise of Lunar Colony. Then Escort, which will be Watchword, Gibraltar, Dorado, and Junkertown. And if we end up going to a fifth map, the losing team from map number 4 will get the remaining choices between the control maps on offer. And if we end up getting to a tie break for any of the modes that allow for ties, we will settle it all on either Nepal or Ilios, depending on how it all turns out. And Kid Fox, now that we have the lay of the land, would you do me a kindness and help me run through the teams that are involved in the Cup?
Absolutely, sir. In case you guys weren't familiar, what Cyberwaste was saying is that we will be rolling through all of the map styles. So we're going to be starting out on Control, then to Hybrid, Assault, Escort, and so on and so forth. And the way that works, ladies and gents, if you're not familiar with it, is that the losing team will be picking the next map to play from. But without further ado, we have got Mingyun versus Classified here for the first map of the OEO Quarantine Cup. And representing Mingyun, going to be rolling out on Lijiang Tower, we have Bugalugs, Husky, Marlow, Blur, Jackal, and Jiancheng. And over on Classified, starting on Team Red, we have Jershi, Chance, Silver, Shose, Shiny, Hero, and Kirei. Now, I don't know about you, Cyberwaste, but I'm seeing some big names lining up for these two teams. I'm absolutely frothing to see what they serve up on the plate here in the first map.
You and me both, and especially, I know a casting partner of mine will be very mad at me if I don't mention this. The Church of Bugalugs will be rising up and in session on the side of Mingyun. And looking at the teams on offer and the recent qualifiers for the next round of trials, this could be a potential matchup that we'll see there. So it's going to be really interesting to see how things will pan out. And we start on the night market.
Yes, the night market is one of my all-time favorites here, and what I love about these control maps, Cyberwaste, is that the only way to the point is through a narrow choke point. Doesn't matter which route you take, there's about 2 or 3 options, but each one of those is guarded by a very narrow choke point. And if and only if you're able to wrest control of that point, Cyberwaste, you can potentially lock down the opposing team without losing a single tick on the point.
That's right. It's one of the most brutal. If you end up losing on the back foot, sometimes depending on how your team plays and how the opposition will post up, it's one of the most difficult to pry away. Because as you said, you basically only have one-way doors going into the main point, which is out in the middle of the map to to one side. And also you've got the bottomless pit down to the street below, guarding a few of the entrances. So if you're on the ground and you get booped away by, say, a Lucio or any hero with a nasty knockback, it's going to be a tough go of it. But Mingyun in the blue, in the red will be Classified. The gates are down, and Kid Fox, we're on the way.
Let's get it on, ladies and gentlemen. Just a friendly reminder, the hero bands are Reaper, Sombra, Diva, and Anno, and we are eagerly awaiting the arrival of Echo later. It looks like we've got the Symmetra plays already starting us off here, ladies and gentlemen. The main walls are in effect as well. Both of these two teams engaging directly on the point. They are not messing around here. The first frag is going to go over to Classified with Shiny Hero taking down the big beefy tank. Buggerlugs on Reinhardt, but they answer it back with Blur, getting himself a kill on the board as well. The Symmetric turrets go up. The objective activates, and we have got half a cap going the way of Classified at the moment, but Mingyun are not down and out yet. They are fighting this with all that they've got, but it is going to go over to Classified, but the fight is not down and out yet. Buggerlug's back into the fray, manages to remove Shose from the equation before Chance answers one back onto Marlow. We've got an Earth Shatter coming across already, doesn't actually find anybody. A fantastic Lucio sound barrier, and even bigger Earth Shatter comes through from Buggerlugs, knocks everyone square on their backside on the side of Classified, and just like that, Mingyun are going to rest this one back.
Buggerlugs, you big, beefy boy. That was a huge shatter and a huge cleanup by the rest of Mingyun. And they weren't afraid when the opening percentage, say it was 20%, went over to Classified. They ground that out, and it's basically a paramount to Lijiang Tower and this section of Lijiang Tower and how the fights could go. And it looks like Classified aren't wasting any time, but they're really wanting to wrestle it back straight away.
The mark of a good Reinhardt is having an Earth Shatter up every single fight. Buggerlugs is exactly that. He takes a lot of damage, but manages to get the frag onto Jershay. So -1 tank on the front line here for Classified, and the wheels are just starting to fall off a little bit as they remove the bongos there from the Orisa. But it looks like Mingyun, they've comfortably wrestled control here from Classified at the moment, and this is what I was talking about here, Cyberwaste. They can very easily choke Classified into submission here.
Very true, and as you said, the bongo actually went down from Chance, and looking at the older kind, it looks a little bit out of sync now because Chance has such low percentage and has a little bit of time to reacquire that bongo, and now that's been used by Mingyun, and yet again, Buggerlugs is really letting to have a swing and asserting his dominance to the rest of Classified, and the Dragon Strike does go out from Jose, and not really to much effect, and that'll be Classified retreating and reconfiguring their battle plan.
Yeah, I saw a few ults fly out onto the point there, Cyberwaste, but unfortunately for Classified, they were not able to make heads or tails of that fight. Mingyun were just very comfortably able to answer back in quick succession, timing their ults to perfection. We saw Jackal throw down the sound barrier, we saw Husky throw down the bongos on Orisa as well, and now Buggerlugs, the man that we were talking about before, he's got one of those Earth Shatters. We see a May Blizzard now being thrown out. This time it's by Marlow, and they're taking the fight out into the main streets here. The Shatter comes through, but it's a bit off to the side there. It will be Buggerlugs taking down Jose, the one-man Shatter. We're now into overtime, 99% in the way of Mingyun, but 3 quick frags coming the way of Classified could change this one. They've got 3 players on the point, and they managed to flip it back.
And Chance and Silver essentially wrestled that away with a little bit of an assistance from Shiny Hero and Kirei. And now Classified will try and replicate what Mingyun did to them previously. We've had a couple of changes. Husky's moved to the Sigma, and the McCree is now on deck, more than likely to shut Silver down, and Kirei has been wiped out very quickly by Buggerlugs.
We see Jiancheng with that Coalescence managing to find a frag, and here come Mingyun. They've wrested this one back, 99%. Overtime is ticking down. Jose on the Hanzo is back onto the point, keeping Classified's hopes alive. He but for a moment, but it will be too little, too late. He does not get the next tick, and the first map of Lijiang Tower is going to go over to Mingyun.
Mingyun making a strong case very early on for basically being able to put up an iron curtain and make it impenetrable for whatever they need to defend. And now we move on to, we go to the garden. And I'd be keeping an eye on Silver, as a matter of fact, who did play Farah briefly. This is one of Farah's strongest points.
Oh, yeah.
Has always been for a long time, so it'll be interesting to see how that's employed. But it looks like they're moving into a different direction with the Doomfist and all the rest of it. But you know what some teams are like. They love to play around with people's brains that are watching the stream. But we will see the Doom Tracer extremely mobile on the side of Classified.
Yes, we will. The Symmetra play is in effect yet again from both of these two teams, not wasting any time at all, taking a page directly out of the Overwatch League books there. And you mentioned Doomfist, that is Silver. Let's see what he can do. Well, turns out it's not much. He gets the first frag heading his way. It's Buggerlugs who finds him with the Flame Strike. So it's a 6v5 situation. Mingyun have the advantage at the moment, and Classified Very, very smart. They read that, they retreat, and Trance now falls as well. This is going to be a comfortable cap going the way of Mingyun to start things off. We see Blur on the side of Mingyun here. He has pulled out McCree. Interesting that to note, not a single Pharah in sight. You were 100% correct when you said that this is one of Pharah's strongest maps ever since the inception of Overwatch, but it's good to see how the meta has just shifted without her being even so much as thought about Cyber West.
That is very true. And now the next player of attack from Classified is moving in from the server room. Silver gets walled off mid-charge by the wall from the mate. So that is going to make things extremely difficult to move forward. And losing Winston isn't really going to help things either for Classified's attack. And judging from their position, it's either Doofus gets a pick or they're going to try to retreat. And now Mingyun realize this and are starting to move forward.
Husky, he's going to play Sigma. He does have the Gravitic Flux readily available should he decide to use it, but it's not needed so far. Shozay will get the kill with a Pulse Bomb there onto Jiang Cheng, who does have a Coalescence waiting. Should he decide to use it, now we see the Coalescence being thrown out from Kirei on the side of Classified. What can it achieve here? Not a whole lot, because that Gravitic Flux I was talking about comes in and slam dunks Shiny Hero and Shozay completely on their spawns. In comes Buggerlugs to clean up on Reinhardt. He manages to get the kill onto Silver. And poor Silver's not having a good time here on Doomfist. He does not yet have a Meteor Strike, and that is really costing his team at the moment. You really need your DPS heroes to be leading the charge, and he will have one available for the next fight, but at 75% cyber waste, it may be too little too late.
It might be a little bit of a short amount of time. Silver does have the Meteor Strike at the ready, but what will Silver get for Fistmas? Will he get a Bounty of Spoils or a Lump of Coal? We'll see in this next fight as it begins to take shape. There is the Dead Eye from Ruin, and Chance is going down. This is going from bad to worse from Classified, man.
You see the Meteor Strike come through for Silver. Doesn't fight anybody. It was more of a tactical placement than anything else. And as soon as he landed, you saw Jackal throw out the sound barrier. This one looks like it's going to go comfortably over to Mingyun, but they're not down and out yet. Classified. In comes Chance on that Wrecking Ball. Will he find the frag? Not just yet. As Shozay gets taken down, trying a bit of McCree action of his own, but the main McCree of the hour is definitely Blur. He finds the frag onto Kirei, and the kill feed is just lighting up all Mingyun here. Chance and Shozay, the final two hopes, glimpses for Classified. Will they be able to make it work? Now they're just trickling in like a dripping tap. It's not going to be enough. And the first map of this best of 5 series, Lijiang Tower, goes over to Mingyun.
And that is a crack of a goal one. And a very strong run there for Mingyun from bell to bell. And dare I say it, the side of Classified, they had a slight bit of brilliance on the opening night market, but then it was all Mingyun all the time. I'd say it was spearheaded by the likes of Jackal, Buggerlugs, and Blur, working as a part of a well-oiled machine, and they're definitely leaving a strong case in their opening map tirades. And with that, it'll be up to Classified to determine where we head next, and it looks like the call is King's Row.
Now, I like this. King's Row is... You think of it as kind of like the Dust 2 of Overwatch, wouldn't you say, Cyberways? It's one of those maps that can really go either way. And I like this coming out here from Classified because, look, they were definitely outclassed in that game. It must be said. The first map on the night market, they showed a lot of promise. They actually managed to cap the point first before Mingyun did, but they were able to regroup and then just literally bully Classified off the point. So now that we're going to be going over to King's Row, this is a map that can really go either way. Maybe Classified have something up their sleeve that we haven't seen yet, but their DPS players are definitely going to have to step up here. I want to see a lot more from Silver, and I want to see a lot more from Shozay coming into King's Row. They have the potential in terms of the map to do it. They've definitely got the skill to do it. There's no question about that, but it's all about the execution, and their team has to play around them.
That's very true. They also have to prevent the DPS on the side of Mingyun from just basically shutting them down and making them a non-factor, which we saw a few times. We saw Silver actually get singled out a few times, and the opening frag on what was it, the Garden, that was basically Silver just getting run down by Buggerlugs and a Fire Strike. So preventing that from happening will also be a part of the order for Classified and their success. We know that the potential's there. You and I both know that. It's just putting it into practice, which is the order of the day for them. And on a map like King's Row, as you did say, it's essentially the map for Overwatch. Like you think of Counter-Strike, you think of Dust 2. You think of, say, TF2, you think of Badlands or something like that.
Yep.
It's essentially one of the cornerstone maps for competitive play since the beginning of time. And because it is so well drilled, you might see a few deviations and a little bit of just basically grinding, like we saw in the opening set of Lijiang Tower, between similar or even very different maps or different hero compositions.
That's it. There's potential. You were talking about the Farah, which we were surprised to see didn't actually come out there on the garden stage of Lijiang Tower. And I just want to give a big shout out here, Cyberwaste. We've got 160 plus viewers turning in here for the first match of the Oceanic Esports Quarantine Cup. Give yourselves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see all 160 people show us, who are you supporting? Do you back in Mingyun or are you in the classified camp? We've also got a massive showing here from the Mooseheads gaming community as well. Shout out to those boys, just showing the love. Let us know who you're supporting in the chat, ladies and gents, as we get here into King's Row. Cyberwaste, do you think classified have what it takes to bring this one back?
They definitely do. And we'll really have to wait and see what they can do, because they essentially got shut down by the side of Mingyun for the most part of Lijiang Tower, but it's such a small sample size, and these maps are so diverse, and the map disciplines are so different in terms of approach. You can't really say that it's a definitive tip either one way or the other. So now that the teams are going to start to come together, Mingyun in the blue on the defense. We'll see the Baptiste. They'll be looking at this composition from Mingyun. They'll be dug in like a tick, and it'll be up to classified to try to pry them free. And looking at this composition, they might be well equipped to do that, depending on how Silver and Jose move to the first point of attack.
20 seconds ticking down here. I'm liking the composition coming out here. We saw a bit of cheeky Symmetra play come out, but that's really stock standard for Control nowadays. They waste absolutely no time getting up in each other's grill. I really like the play of Buggerlugs on that first map. Like I said, he had an Earth Shatter basically every single fight, and it was off the back of his Fat Shatter that actually allowed Mingyun to cap that first point away from classified. As we get into proceedings here, already Jershi 10% of the way to one of those all fearsome shatters. It looks like the classified guys here on Team Red attack. They've managed to move their way into the fountain, into the statue already. Now the Maywar will come out from both of these two teams, just nullifying the Reinhardt charges. Very, very surgical timing coming out from both of the Mays. Well done, Silver. Well done, Marlo. But the first rag is going to be Jiangcheng, who sets his team up with a fantastic immortality field. And the first 3 frags on defense are going to go over to Mingyun. Classified need to just recompose, recollect, and re-attack.
Yep, basically think, no, that didn't work, and draw themselves back up again. And keeping Chance alive will be critical, because he's actually at full charge as Zarya, and a full charge Zarya is going to be extremely scary moving into this next fight, not only because of the sound that comes out of the proton cannon, the amount of damage that you can output. You can essentially melt whatever shield gets put in front of you. It looks like they've already jumped the gun, and they're keen to get in, but they've lost attack early on.
Another surgical immortality field coming out there from Jiangcheng, who does have ult available, should he decide to use it, and on a map like this it is very, very strong. There's another big shadow from Buggerlugs! Woohoo! The rest of classified really had absolutely no answer, as they were knocked like turtles on their back, and in comes the cleanup crew of Mingyun just to take everybody and send them back to spawn with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock.
It's fitting with the Hojo Spark skin that Mr. Buggerlugs was rocking. It is a Passive Pick War Machine and is torn the classified crew asunder, but it'll be up to Jershi to try and rebuttal. But this big blizzard has essentially stopped this push dead.
Yep, and so has the rest of Mingyun. I'm gonna give a big shout out to Jiangcheng here with his fantastic immortality fields, just getting them out of harm's way, but with enough room to provide protection for the entirety of his team. Now, with no heroes like Sombra, with no heroes like Reaper, Classified are really gonna have to dig deep here to get onto the backline and do something about that, because that is the be-all and end-all here at the moment. Mingyun, yes, they're outplaying them all, but
oh my goodness!
Flame Strike through the amplification matrix, making a big 4K. He's hunting for a 5. He gets an assist regardless, but Buggerlugs is on fire at the moment for Mingyun.
And Jiangcheng put up the window of pain, and then Buggerlugs just went right through it and said thank you very much. And we're moving into 1 minute and 20. Classified are starting to pull their tools together. They have the Graviton Surge, Blizzard, the Earth Shatter, and there's more than likely going to be a Deadeye on deck for this next fight, but it'll be clinical to them to get everything down. They've lost their Baptiste on the side of Classified.
Jersey really just cannot make these shatters work, and you really need to get that going if you want your team to be successful. You heard the announcer, we've got 60 seconds left in the game, and Mingyun are looking like just complete solidarity here at the moment. Classified cannot penetrate this defense, and now Mingyun are just taking the fight to them, getting them all the way back into the spawn, having an element of TF2 about it. Now Silver really digging deep here, pulls out the Widowmaker to try and make something happen. Now switches over to Hanzo. They do have ults in their favor though. They've got the Deadeye, they've got the Amplification Matrix, there it is, it goes down. They've also got the defensive sound barrier. Let's see what they can make of this with sub 30 seconds left. They're not using that Amplification Matrix at all. They should have used it with McCree, who does actually manage to get the kill there onto Husky. Good sound barrier coming across. This is looking good for Classified. They've got one, but Mingyun are holding firm at the moment. Great Immortality field. Now here come Classified. Is this going to be it? The Shatter comes through, but it's not going to be enough from Bugger Lugs, who threw that out in the last ditch effort. Classified, they managed to penetrate. They're going to hold firm for now.
Bugger Lugs got fragged mid-swing on the Earth Shatter there, so that is going to be a little bit unfortunate, but all in all, a strong defense that just took, dare I say, a little bit of desperation there from Classified to finally nail that down and just run straight at it. And then it finally caved in for the side of Mingyun. And now we move into the streets phase, and it's basically start from square one for the side of Classified.
It's exactly the same for the side of Mingyun though. Now we see Amplification Matrix coming through, and Bugger Lugs uses it to perfection, landing a kill with yet another Flame Strike. Blur gets one as well. The ults though are in the favor of the attacking team Classified. They have their own Amplification Matrix, and Jersey has an Earth Shatter, and he hasn't been able to make that work so far, Cyber Waste, but it only takes one precision Q, and then it's all she wrote for Mingyun.
That's very true, but you'd also have two shields to try and navigate. Try and get Bugger Lugs with his shield down and Orisa with their shield down as well. There goes the window. It is up from Kieré, and a lot of damage is trying to go through it. Woo! And what on earth?
The Blizzard comes down as well, and yeah, it landed smack bang into the cart. So, not good news there, but here comes Mingyun again. Milo gets the kill under Jersey, and they halt Classifier's attacks, just putting the brakes on, if but for now. But once again, the ult economy is in the favor of Classified. You cannot underestimate that. They've got a Deadeye, they've got the Dragon Strike, they just need something to couple it with. You know what would be supreme for that? A fantastic Earth Shatter. Let's see what Jersey can do, but he's a long way off.
Jersey is not even close to getting it for this fight, which is a little bit unfortunate. Jose and the Dragon Strike at Silver will be expunged, but Jung Chen just got told to sit down, and Blur pulled out a Deadeye in rebuttal. Not really all that much, but it forced the side of Classified back around the corner, and that was well enough. And Classified still being forced back just by the sheer presence of Mingyun, and with this Amplification Matrix going up, I'd expect this push to be completely abandoned.
Yeah, Mingyun doing a great job lighting up the kill feed. 3 quick frags going their way, but once again, the ults are in favor of Classified. They've got the ammo in the bandolier. They just need to load it and make it work. Jersey very close to an Earth Shatter. Chance has got the Orisa Bongos. Shiny Hero extremely close to a sound barrier as well, but he has been taken out. And here comes Blur, just putting the pedal to the metal. He gets 2 kills. Ooh, he's hunting for a third. He gets the assist there, but here comes Bugger Lugs on Big Daddy Reinhardt. He gets 2 frags for his trouble, and that will be all she wrote. Mingyun stopping the cart less than 50% of the way through the streets phase, but it must be said, you have to tip your hat to Classified there, Cyber Waste, because they were not looking like they were going to bully Mingyun off that first point at all, and it only took one good team fight with frags in quick succession for them to keep their hopes alive.
That's very true, and that's a sign of a team that does not really sweat under pressure. They're just like, okay, we know that they might get a little bit overzealous, they might be a little bit fractured because they're getting into the closing stages of a defense. We'll try and strike the way that we know how, and then it all fell into place. And then the point was seized by Classified, so they're going to be extremely happy with that. But looking at where the box of victory is, it's just by the library. And we could see the inverse happen as well, from Classified having a strong defense, and even one step further, they could completely shut them out, because there is a couple of defensive points in the second phase, if we end up getting there, that can be basically a wall to put up for the defense that is nigh on impenetrable without a little bit of thought and a little bit of planning. So we'll see what Mingyun will bring to the battlefield in this next phase. 10 seconds until the gates open, Clip Fox.
What Mingyun were able to do so well there is they were able to whittle down Classified before the fight even began. The precision timing of the Orisa Hulk combined with the Reinhardt Flame Strike was just chunking the entire team before the fight even took place. Let's see what Mingyun here can do on attack. Remember, we saw Classified take only one fight for them to push him off the point. Now, the walls come out from both of these maze, just forcing teams to take a little bit of a detour. We see the Immortality Field coming out here from the side of Classified. That's all thanks to Karay. Now they get 3 frags in very quick succession, and that will be enough, and all of a sudden, Mingyun find themselves in unfamiliar territory, and that is on the back foot.
Very much on the back foot, and there's one thing that Classified did have in their favor that Mingyun did not. Their high charge Zarya did not stay in the field of play, died in the first skirmish, so that Zarya's been retired, and now Husky has decided to move to Orisa, which, looking at the composition, might be the better choice. We'll see how this goes in this next fight.
And they're just taking the slow approach here, Mingyun, but Classified are not getting themselves up an inch here. Now, Mingyun have managed to get themselves onto the point. A big shatter from Bugger once again. 4 members of Classified find themselves on their back, but it was only one of them was being able to be taken out there off the back of some great work there from Silver. And once again, Kuray with that Immortality Field, getting it done for the boys from Classified. We've got Silver throwing out a Deadeye. There it is, the big 2K, Jiangcheng and Jackal. Both supports now sent back to the spawn here from Mingyun. And the wheels are just starting to look a little bit shaky here for the attacking side. They're not off yet, but Classified, like a phoenix from the ashes, are looking like a fresh team here.
A fresh team, true, but there is one small positive for Mingyun. They have a third in pocket in terms of point progress, and now the window's up from Jiangcheng, and Buggerlux just lays Silver out. So this could be the fight that they would really want to capitalize on the side of Mingyun, but that blizzard from Jose could put a little bit of a stop to that.
Hulk's coming out again. We've got a sound barrier from Shiny Hero. Here come Classified. Jershi finally gets the shatter down. He manages to take down his counterpart in Buggerlugs, but Mingyun are lighting up that kill feed. They get Jershi. They manage to bully the rest of Mingyun back into the choke point, but here come Classified. Yet again, the Hulk not being able to get the job done. Immortality Field, Amplification Matrix coming out here on the side of Classified, but the Maywall did a bit more harm than good there from Jose. Another Hulk coming through, but Buggerlugs again with another big fat shatter, and it is all that all that Mingyun need to be able to cap this point. And like you were saying before, Cyberwaste, the box of victory is not very far at all, just around the first S-bend. Let's see what Classified can do here on defense, but Mingyun at the moment do have the spawn advantage, and they've pressed themselves up accordingly.
And the real bummer for the side of Classified, their spawn is all the way back at the end of the map in the Foundry. And then you compare that to where Mingyun is spawning. They're on the back foot, perhaps even on borrowed time if they don't get a defense up quickly. It looks like they're there just in time, and Buggerlung's got really chunked down, but their supports are there to keep him afloat. But Mingyun, they're not really backing down, and they have no reason to either.
Jershi taking a lot of damage, but even better healing coming from the backline, courtesy of Kirei and Shiny Hero. Amplification Matrix is now thrown down from Jiangcheng. What can they make of this? It doesn't look like a whole lot. The Flame Strike was just a little bit too slow. Once again, Jershi lands a shatter square into the face of the cart. That is not good news if you're a Classified fan. Kirei does make it work though, getting the kill on Jiangcheng. So a bit of Baptiste on Baptiste action. Jackal is hunting. He's looking, but he gets taken down from Jose. Great hit scan work there coming out from Bay.
that almost went totally asunder though, because Jackal basically snuck behind them on the cart, got a little bit of sneaky back cap, but it didn't end up coming to fruition because the side of Classified were smelling around. They're just like, something's afoot, isn't it? Yeah, that's exactly it. And now Classified are really jumping into another fight, and that, oh, they might be wanting that, the Blizzard from Marlow there. That might be a bad misfire that they might want back. And there is the Blizzard from Jose, which is bearing a little bit more fruit.
We see the Deadeye coming at him from Silver, but a main wall is denying him his frags. The shatter comes through, yes, yet again from Buggerlugs. He only finds one this time, but Jershi is there as his shiny hero with a well-timed sound barrier to keep everybody alive. And Mingyun are struggling here in the streets phase. We mentioned that Classified have come out looking like a brand new team, and the kill feed is representing that here at the moment. I'm liking what I'm seeing here from the team on defense here at the moment. Cyberwaste, every single fight, they're not just throwing their ults out, they're using them with precision timing. Only one or two here and there, and it's all that they need.
That's what you really want, especially on defense. You want to be efficient with how you use each ultimate. Keep an eye on Blur though, does have the Deadeye, but the wall goes up to basically defend everyone, and all it hit was nothing but shield, and even the original shield came back down, and that's made things a little bit more difficult for Mingyun to try and progress.
Both amplification matrices have gone out from the Baptistes. What can happen here is anybody's guess. Silver manages to take down Blur. So McCree on McCree. It goes the way of Classified. High Noon comes out with a fantastic wall there from Marlow. Silver forced around the side. He gets 3 in the library. Well done, Classified. There's less than 40 seconds remaining here on the clock, and Classified have got Mingyun in a chokehold. Yes, it's like a rugby scrum at the moment, Cyberwaste. Mingyun trying to bully their way across the line, but Classified are just resolute in their defense.
And Silver's giving a reminder to everybody, my Peacemaker can speak in Warthog if you are not careful. That is exactly what Mingyun was. They were not careful and they were made to pay. The Blizzard does go out from Jose and basically funnels Mingyun into the library and out amongst the streets. And this is going from bad to worse. From what was looking like a strong team, the foundations are beginning to not look as strong, Kid Fox. Where in overtime it looks like it's game over and we have a tied series. And Kid Fox got so excited from that set, it turns out he went silent. Do you have your voice back, Kid Fox? It appears that he's still taking a breather, but Buggerlug's really owning the play of the game, but now we are tied at 1-1, and we move into the next map of this set, which is the choice of Mingyun.
I do apologize there. I heard the pings of the mute, but it didn't actually come through. What I was saying is you really have to tip your hat to Classified there. There was nothing that Mingyun could do there in the end, Cyberwaste. It was absolutely insane the way that they were able to just come back, recompose, and finally they've come out to play. Some teams it takes a map or two to warm up, and it looks like that's the case here for Classified, but now that puts the ball in Mingyun's court. They get to choose the next map as we go into Assault in this best of 5 series. We could go the whole distance here.
We definitely could. And they've shown a lot of potential to do exactly that. And I'd say it's essentially turned into a boxing match or even a wrestling match where it has ebbs and flows between basically two sides of the coin. So it could go for a long time. And I'm all for it. The choice on the next map, which was made by Mingyun, is Horizon Lunar Colony. So, Kid Fox, we're going to space.
We are going to space. We're going to the moon. This is one of the maps that I remember when it first came out was a little bit questionable, as is the reception when any Assault map comes out. It's like, yeah, we're getting another map. Oh, wait, it's Assault. Never mind. But Horizon is one of those maps that I really, really like. There's a lot of open ground, a lot of different tactics that can be used. And it's not like Hanamura where, you can definitely snowball onto the point and basically choke them out. It's one of those maps where anything can happen, which is why I love Horizon Lunar Colony. And I'm really liking this choice here from Mingyun here as we go into Assault. I'm expecting to see something a little bit out of the ordinary here. I mean, you don't take a defeat lightly. You need to shake things up because what you were doing was obviously not working. Mingyun are going to be on attack first because they chose this map. So Classified have actually opted for defense. We are ready to go. Cyber Waste, get involved. Let us know who you think is going to take this one out in chat, ladies and gents. It's currently 1 apiece. Best of 5 series. First to 3 maps. Just a bit of quick maths for you, but let us know. I can't choose at the moment. I really cannot.
No, I actually have a coin here. Hang on. I have a coin from I Am Sydney. I can call it in the air if I want to. I'll go for the crest, and that is meaning that the side of Mingyun will take the map. And I dropped it. Smooth. No, it landed on the Opera House. So that will be the side of Classified taking the map, but as you said, and as I just alluded to in a very practical demonstration, which fell really, really awry, you can basically call it in the air. And that's what these types of maps can really make a lot more interesting, depending on how it all plays out. And it looks like we're moving into the assembly phase, Kid Fox. We'll see who will be stepping onto the moon.
Coin flip on radio is content at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, let's see who will take this one out. Mingyun versus Classified. Currently 1 apiece here in the inaugural Oceanic Esports Open Quarantine Cup. And I'm absolutely loving the opportunity here to be able to bring a bit of entertainment in an otherwise worrying and lonely world at the moment. So I hope you guys like what you are seeing. And if you haven't done so already, please, up in the top right-hand corner of your screen, click that love heart icon, follow the channel, because we have got a lot more matches coming your way at the end of this. But we'll get into those a little bit later once it's time. And it looks like we're about to get underway here on Horizon as Mingyun see what they can do here on attack with Classified on defense.
And it looks like we'll see Blur employing the Symmetra. It will look like a upper attack from the looks of things. Either that or a split attack. We'll see how it all comes together. Classified are well and truly dug in with the Reinhardt and the Sigma, which is on deck. Really curious about how Blur will play this, and it's essentially moving straight to the point. And Marlo's been properly dispatched off, so this opening attack could be basically a wipe the board clean and give it another go.
Yep, Classified looking very, very strong. The Symmetra teleportation tactic just did not work there for Mingyun to start things off, but it did allow them to retreat without being staggered out. And those are valuable seconds come crunch time at the end of the round, Cyber Waste. But let's see what their second attack holds for them. They're just in a little bit of trouble here at the moment. Husky throwing out that projected barrier here on the Sigma. This is a map where Gravitic Flux can really change the course of an attack or a defense, but the high ground currently in control of Team Classified as Mingyun managed to bully their way onto the point. It starts ticking, but not a lot going up because they've got 1 foot on the point here to Classified. Jershi, Chance, and the rest of the boys just rolling out. 1 phone call is all it takes, and they turn up in an absolute carload through those doors. Jershi manages to get the frag onto Marlo with a nice melee kill to start things off. Buggerlugs whips his charge, unable to replicate his efforts from the first map. We see a Deadeye coming through already. It's Silver manages to get Blur, but he makes use, nevertheless, going in with a good left click there, taking down Buggerlugs. They do manage to get, almost 2 ticks on the first point there, Cyberways, but a very strong hold there from Classified.
That is true, but a small victory there for Mingyun, as you did say. It was 1/3, nearly 2/3, so they at least have a condition that needs to be met after the change, should we even need to go there. Moving just under 1 minute and 50, and they're moving straight toward the high ground. Keep an eye on Buggerlugs, he does have the charge at the ready. And looking at how this will go, it could be extremely nasty after that Gravitic Flux, but it's looking like it'll be okay. Oh dear.
Big Gravitic Flux coming through, but an even better sound barrier. Well done by Jackal to keep his team alive there, but Silver is having absolutely none of that. He takes down Jiangcheng. Husky gets Jershi, and this is where it looks nasty here for Team Classified as Mingyun are just an absolute powerhouse when they're in a position like this. Shiny Hero manages to boot Buggerlugs off the point. That's big. That's a lot of time that Reinhardt has to waddle his way back around up onto the point, but it's going to be too little too late. This first point is going to go over to Mingyun, and with just over 4 minutes on the clock, they have a lot to play with coming into this second phase.
Yes, they do, and I'm actually really curious as to whether they'll keep the snowball going with Blur being at the tip of the spear and the teleporter being in use. But we'll see how this goes. And it looks like Classified are telegraphing all this and holding towards the high ground and giving them a bit of an avenue to move lower should the need arise. And now it looks like that will be exactly what is done. They've decided to move lower on the side of Classified, and we're about to go.
Oh, Silver with a big Deadeye. He gets 2 for his troubles, and Classified with a 2-man advantage here. It's 4 versus 6, and you don't need to be Albert Einstein to work out that advantage. And yes, they capitalize. Classified take down Buggerlugs, forcing the retreat. And here they go, pushing them all the way back into their spawn. Husky in a world of pain as the Maywall separates him from the rest of his team, and he will get staggered out. That is huge. With just over 3 minutes left here on the clock, what can Mingyun do?
Well, basically, try to avoid getting staggered out like that. Sure, it was small now, but it could be huge in the near future, because staggering any player, but staggering a tank who basically absorbs a lot of the damage and uses a lot of util is a valuable asset to lose. But the wall will go up from the Symmetra, and there goes the Gravitic Flux from Husky.
It collected 4 members there on the side of Classified, but once again, the defense was so solid. Here come Mingyun. This is what they needed. They need to throw themselves on the point, and just like that, they were able to push off Classified for long enough, securing the cap with 2 minutes 30 left on the clock. Mingyun seem to have had the life breathed back into them after that defeat there on Kings Row, Cyber West.
Yes, indeed. And they're just like, I'll just shake it off. It's nothing. We could still keep going. And they went from... It was looking a little bit fractured in the first couple of attempts, so they were just like, no, it's not working. We'll try something different. And then it was almost like they turned back into that war machine that I've alluded to a few times. And basically moving onto that point, just a whole lot of destruction onto that defense. They just basically snapped on the side of Classified. And we'll see what they can give up as a rebuttal in this next set.
Ooh, I'm liking the hovering picks here from Team Mingyun here on defense. I've got my personal favorite hero, Ash, and Marlowe is opting for the Junkrat. Now, that's smart, considering that there are so many hidey holes that the attacking team can just sit in and wait to bide up their time. But that's a double-edged sword when you think about it, Cyberwaste, because those Junkrat bombs do a fair bit of damage, but they also allow the defensive team to build up their defensive ults. So they just need to be careful with the way they play that and use the proximity mines to be, the detonated mines to be able to secure the kills in clutch situations, or otherwise they're going to have a couple defensive ults come in their way that they just do not want to deal with.
Definitely not, and there's plenty of them with the crowd control and a lot of the healing aspect, the shield aspect to contend with, and there goes the dynamite from Blur. Lots of ticks there, looking to get Bob to show up as soon as possible. No frags yet, still just a basic war of attrition. Keep it on Silver and where the teleporter will go. And Kiere has been taken out early.
The Junkrat into play, Marlowe finding the first frag. Now Blur on the Ash here is being damage boosted by Jackal on the Mercy. Now that is huge. If you get a damage boosted dynamite, whew, that's a lot of damage that is coming your way. But the high ground firmly in favor here of Team Mingyun. Husky now up on the high ground as well, just bouncing those Sigma left clicks off the wall, trying to just build up the ult of his own, 35% of the way to the Gravitic Flux. Now he throws a shield back just to defend the DPS heroes up on the high ground, but that will just allow Classified to waddle their way around and enter through the back door onto the point. Now this is where Mingyun need to step up. We see an amplification matrix coming out, but Blur has got a bolt built up already. He gets thrown onto the point, but is promptly frozen in place, and he's just sitting on the right hand side of the entrance here, just ready to welcome Classified as they come into the point. Bob's still up, but Blur gets taken down. Silver on the Tracer manages to find that. The Gravitic Flux gets thrown out. The Jershi doesn't die from it. Is promptly cleaned up though by Jiangqing. Now an amplification matrix being thrown out by Jiangqing. What can they make of this one? Can Team Mingyun? They're currently separated from the team at the hands of Shose, 80% of the weight of the Blizzard, but he gets taken down and sent back to spawn. This is looking very, very solid here from Mingyun, who split their defense and opt for a pincer approach, and Classified just were not ready for it, Cyberwaste.
Definitely not. And even with Silver getting the initial frags and slowly starting to pry things apart, everybody noticed, okay, there's a Tracer floating about. There's a chance for us to pinch the attackers and basically stop them from moving up. And that's exactly what they did. And it looks like, I'm sorry, Kid Fox, but Ash has been retired after Bob's performance, and Tracer will be piloted by Blur for this next skirmish.
Disappointing from a personal perspective, because Bob had a lot of had a big impact there, and Blur definitely chunking up the damage. But regardless, doing what makes him feel comfortable. Marlowe threw out the Riptire, but the wall from Jose was just too little, too late, and he gets taken down. So, all things considered, one frag from a Riptire isn't too bad, but that's one less player that they have to deal with. And now they're trying to penetrate the defense here of Mingyun with one less player, 6 versus 5. Looks like we've got the Immortality field now being thrown out by Kirei, but that's promptly taken down. Buggerlugs did have the bongos out, but Shiny Hero made quick work of those. Here comes Jershi taking down Jiang Cheng. Blur has a pulse bomb, throws it out, and manages to take down Shiny Hero. So Lucio, the slippery frog himself, is removed from the equation here, and Mingyun, looking very, very strong on the kill feed. Just flexing their muscles. Chance, the last player to be staggered out. 45 seconds left on the clock. Classified need a boogie, and they need a boogie now.
They need to basically get themselves well coordinated and not have 2 left feet, or it's going to be curtains for their attack and their chance of taking Horizon Lunar Colony. We're moving into 30 seconds now, and looking at the ultimate economy, we have the Earth Shatter, the Bongo Drum, and we do have the Blizzard, which could prove to be fruitful, but that is a big gravitic flux.
But it was an even bigger sound barrier coming out from Shiny Hero, who was able to keep his team alive, because that collected 3 to 4 members of Classified, and that could have been all she wrote. Now the Blizzard comes out here from Jose, but Mingyun are quickly able to reposition themselves. This is the last ditch effort as we go into overtime here on the point. The frags is anybody's game here at the moment. Marlowe gets resurrected there by Jackal, but here come Classified. The frags are going their way. The pulse bomb comes out, but the Immortality field nullifies all of that damage. Classified are looking pretty good here, Cyberwaste. It looks like they are going to take this one, as the rest of Mingyun are promptly mopped up. They've got no contestant on this point whatsoever, but remember, there is 2.5 minutes in the time bank for Mingyun, and now poor Classified have only got 3 minutes to make something work here on this phase 2.
Yeah, if everything can fall into place, Classified can match their time, but looking at how they are approaching it, which is well in their right, mind you, it might not be a match time, but we'll have to wait and see. It looks like the point is already being brought upon. A Jershi just got run over by a Riptire and torn asunder. So Mingyun putting up the defensive wall again, Kid Fox.
Yeah, Blur back on the Ash, having instant impact. Chance goes down, so does Jose, and Ash is so good at controlling the high ground here, doing his best, and Obi-Wan impersonation is Blur, and that will be all she wrote for the attackee from Classified. They're currently in minus time bank, so if they do manage to cap it, they're going to be pushing a boulder up a hill. Regardless, they are still alive, and they will still be alive in this series, because that's the beauty of a best of 5 here, Cyberwaste. It could be anybody's game. You could lose 1 or 2 maps and still be involved, and that's what Classified are hoping for here. But what they're hoping for more is to take this one away here from Mingyun. It's a difficult task, but it's definitely not beyond them. The pulse bomb goes out. It's a complete whiff there from Silver, and that's something that he really needed to make work. Now the high ground once again being abused here by Mingyun. They drop back down onto the point. Good sound barrier comes through. The amplification magic from Kirei is not going to do much. Gravitic flux now. It's actually going to connect Jershi, and in comes Winston. It's Big Daddy Buggerlugs. Husky combines with him, takes down Jershi. Jose goes down as well, and here comes Blur, who's going to have a Bob waiting for the next fight. They've got to deal with Tracer here on this point, who finally gets taken down. Not a single frag going the way of Classified on that attack at all, Cyberwaste.
No, not at all, and there is a reason why the Church of Buggerlugs is more of an expression. It is a way of life, and he does have the Primal Rage at the ready. Bob's at the ready too. Blur has that in their pocket, and we're down to 1 hot minute. And we'll be waiting to see whether Classified can finally uncover the secrets to an attack, or it will be torn asunder. And there goes Bob moving in for center stage.
Yeah, it was a fantastic immortality field coming out, but it's not going to be enough. Bob now on the point, definitely doing something. Shiny Hero gets taken down, and Blur gets 2 frags of his own. Jershi, Shosei, and now Silver going down. Oh, I love me some good Ash. Less than 30 seconds left on the clock, Cyberwaste. There's one last roll of the dice here from Classified, but they are looking like it's going to be a struggle. But one thing they do have in their favor is the alt economy. Earth Shatter, Pulse Bomb, as well as Blizzard, all in the back pocket.
But the problem is the defensive formation from the side of Mingyun is a little bit more spread out, and 2 members going down is not going to help things. The Riptide runs over Jershi and Kershi, and now Classified has Bob to also contend with, so it's obviously going to go from bad to worse, and it's lights out now, Kid Fox. The map is done, and Mingyun scratch up another one.
Mingyun do scratch up another one, and that was their pick, remember, Cyberwaste. So I guess you could say they had the home ground advantage in that respect. But remember, when King's Road was chosen by Classified, Classified won the map. Horizon was chosen by Mingyun. Mingyun won the map. Now that it's once again Classified's turn to pick the map on Escort, could we see a potential resurrection in their gameplay, just like we saw on the hybrid map?
That is very true. It could be a pattern that is forming before our very eyes. And to remind the people at home and out there in Twitch land, thank you to every single one of you for watching. We have the maps in the next discipline, which is Escort, and we can either go to Watchpoint, Gibraltar, we go to Dorado, or we go to the home field advantage for everybody, Junkertown.
We'll just have to wait and see. It looks like our faithful admin Vaz is just asking the question here to Classified. They've got the choice of Gibraltar, Dorado, or Watchpoint, and Junker, according to our fearless leader admin. Shout out to Vaz in the chat too, ladies and gentlemen. Does a lot of work here for the Oceanic Esports Open. The best love that you can give him is make sure you click that love heart in the top right-hand corner, and that is the biggest thank you that you could possibly give. So make sure you're following the channel. We've got many more matches coming your way. This is just the entree of the 3-course meal, if you will, that we're serving up for you tonight here in terms of competitive Overwatch. And it looks like Junkertown is going to be the battlefield of choice here for Team Classified. Now, I love me some Junkertown because this is the map where the strat known as the pirate ship it was birthed, basically, Cyberwaste, and for a long time before teams actually knew what they were doing on this map, that is all you saw, and it was just 1000% entertainment value. Will we see it again here? Who knows, but Junkertown is definitely going to deliver.
I'm in the mood to go sailing, Kit Fox, so I want to see the pirate ship make a return. And knowing the main heroes that we've seen on the docket tonight for both of these teams, we might actually see a resurrection of it. But we'll have to wait and see for all the formalities to move out of the way, and we move on towards Junkertown. And that opening point is actually a point of contention I want to sort of go on a little bit of a sidetrack on, because it is a little bit more cramped in the first half, but then you get to the bridge. The payload goes onto the bridge, and it is absurdly open for both sides to really contend with. And you'd think, oh, it favors the defenders. No, not really, because it is so open, and there's only a few places for the defense to properly get a lay of the land on things, and they're on the high ground, which is basically cut off to actually contending the points. So that's something you really have to contest with. But now the formalities are out of the way, the ready calls have been exchanged, and we move to Junkertown.
We do move to Junkertown. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have just joined us, this is the Oceanic Esports Open Quarantine Cup, brought to you by CappingTV. My name is Kit Fox, joined by Cyberwaste. It's Mingyun going up against Classified in this best-of-5 series. The first map, Lijiang Tower, went to Mingyun, but on King's Row, the hybrid map, Classified brought it back, and we just saw Mingyun take down Horizon Lunar Colony. That puts them up with the 2-1 advantage, and this is essentially match point for them, Cyberwaste. If they take down Junkertown, they're going to progress through.
Yes, they will, and they'll be wanting to get to second, because that is where the takeaway slot is. And that makes me very hungry. And I hope everybody at home is taking advantage of that and supporting the local businesses in amongst there next to the woods and getting takeaway of their own. And give them a little bit of extra coin just to say thanks.
Yep, 5 stars. Always tip your Uber drivers in this trying economy. We need to look out for one another. Cyber waste, am I right?
Indeed. But the gates are about to drop. And looking at Blood Mingyun's defense, it looks pretty standard. But keep an eye on Blood, how they focus each of the targets and trying to nail down a high value one. Didn't quite get it, so we might see a rebirth of the pirate ship on the side of Classified, but they're eating up a lot of damage to get it to set sail.
They definitely are, but it's not going to be the pirate ship. There is no Bastion. There is the Orisa. That's, I suppose, one component of it. Lots of damage coming the way here of the defending team here. Mingyun Classified are going to be on attack, and they've just managed to get it into the under that bridge choke point that you were talking about just before, Cyberwaste. This is where it can really be do or die for the teams. It's make or break now. Lots of damage coming through. Accretion goes out from Chance, doesn't actually find a target. Nobody is stunned. Buggerlugs on the Orisa. That ground and pound strategy doing very, very well here for Team Mingyun. They've also got the high ground advantage with Marlowe being damage boosted by Mercy. He is on Hanzo, and he's just being able to chunk down everybody that comes his way. Very narrow. It's a sniper's heaven here, and Marlowe making full use of that, and he manages to plant one smack bang between the eyes of his opposing Hanzo Silver. 4 kills go on the way of Mingyun. They're going to hold firm for now.
That is very true, and Marlowe is actually one of the figureheads in that entire defensive swing for Mingyun, because the first person they took down was the Mercy of Shiny Hero, and now has the Dragon Strike at the ready to try to part the seas should the need arise. And Classified will be wanting to get away in, and that whole accretion, that looked like it hurt, but the Sigma of Husky is able to retreat to safety for a little while.
He is having a look at the ult economy. It is in the favour of Mingyun at the moment. Great immortality field though, thrown out by Curé, just to nullify the whole Dragon Strike combo that went his way. In comes Husky with a Gravitic Flux. He's going to collect 3 members on the side of Classified. Nobody gets taken down. Oh, Blur and Marlowe combining the double sniper DPS composition, getting it done here for Mingyun on defense at the moment. Buggerlugs into the action as well. Takes down Jershi on the Orisa. And once again, this fight is not good news. If you are a Classified fan, they get completely mopped up by everybody on the side of Mingyun. 1 minute, 33 seconds left to play. Classified are struggling to get this payload through that bridge choke point.
Yeah, and it's extremely awkward. That's the other side of the coin that I did allude to earlier in the piece. The open ground is going to favor the attackers. This particular formation is more often than not going to favor the defenders if they keep an eye on their flanks to prevent any of the attackers from wrapping around, which they are trying to do. Both Orisa and Sigma are trying to get on the flank. And there goes the Gravitic Flux, trying to displace the side of Mingyun, but it looks like they are well and truly equipped to stay put.
That's exactly right. Shiny Hero now into the Valkyrie on the side of Classified. Doesn't really accomplish much, but it was more of a panic one in the end there. Less than 1 minute remaining. What can Classified do? They need to displace Marlowe and the boys off the top of this bridge, or otherwise they're going to have a really hard time. But as I say that, Chance and Shose actually managed to pick up 2 very quick frags. They get Marlowe as well. This cart is well on its way here into the second stage. They're going to be knocking on the doors of Junkertown. They're going to huff, they're going to puff, they're going to knock it down, and they will go into the second phase. Well done, Classified. They buy themselves 3 minutes in the time bank.
Yes, they do. 2 minutes and 45, and the Junker Queen will greet them with a little bit of a scathing remark. And Jackal has moved on to the Brigitte, which is an interesting choice, but it'll be more for the armor that's put into play and make it a little bit tougher for the DPS on the side of Classified to try and shoot through. And Husky has pulled out the Gravitic Flux, and this could be a whole world of hurt.
Oh, it is a whole world of hurt as 3 frags go the way of Mingyun on defense. Blur has whipped out the Tracer. Jershi and Kirei get taken down. Not good news if you're a classified fan. 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes rather, remaining here on the time bank, but there is still plenty of time to play with. Stranger things have happened. We're going to hear a Dragon Strike now being thrown out through the choke point back into spawn of the poor lads from Classified. Jose gets taken down. That'll force Shiny Hero out into a revive. Marlo in on the action, takes down Chance. It's just a tit for tat here at the moment. Jose repays the favor very quickly from that revive. He manages to take down Marlo, but there's still lots of time to be left here in the time bank rather, and lots of time for Mingyun to defend. They've got themselves firmly camped up in the top and the bottom choke points. Buggerlugs now pulls the trigger. He goes in on the back line. Chunks down the opposition enough that allows Blur to come in and land a pulse bomb squarely on Silver. So -1 sniper on the side of Classified. We've got ourselves we've got a Zenyatta coming out here. Jiang Cheng whipping out our favourite Omnic. Jershi with a quick 2k. That should be enough to open the gates, but Marlo has pulled out Genji and he gets 2 kills of his own just when you think Classified are gaining the inches. In come Mingyun, but as I say that, the rest of Classified have managed to sneak their way back onto the cart here. Now they're dealing with Blur, who's on the back line. All he's doing is going to stagger himself out here if he's not careful. Forces into the recall. Tracer on Tracer action, but Jose manages to take him down in close quarters. Having a look at the ult economy, it is firmly in the favour here of the attacking team. Classified. There's the Valkyrie. There's the Gravitic Flux coming out. Jirei has got himself the Amplification Matrix. Jershi has got the bongos as well. Just keep your eyes peeled. There we can see the Amplification Matrix being thrown out. They need to funnel themselves and make this one work because they've got less than 30 seconds remaining. In fact, 20 seconds on the clock for 2 frags. Going the way of Classified just could be enough, but Blur comes in on the action. So does Buggerlugs into the Primal Rage. He's going to do his darndest to stop any more meterage being gained on this cart here. Team Classified just struggling, or are they? No, they deal with Buggerlugs, and all of a sudden they're very, very close here into to getting into this third phase. We've got overtime now being ticked away. Marlo on the Genji is promptly taken down. Jiang Cheng does not want a bar of defending that cart. He is Zenyatta. Not a whole lot he can do other than meat shield. He makes the smart option and retreats.
Indeed, especially with the Transcendence in pocket, Genching would not want to give that up. It's actually a wise decision for Mingyun to try to bleed a little bit of time off of the clock, but now with the ult at the ready, look what you've got. You've got the Gravitic Flux, Dragon Blade at the ready for Marlo, and the Transcendence to keep the team up if anything goes right. And Blur and Silver are having a bit of a tiff in a Tracer duel, and Mingyun has used this as a chance to get moving, especially with Kirei being taken down.
I'm liking this Genji pick. It's really, really ballsy stuff here from Marlo, considering that Ana is banned, and part of the Genji bread and butter is that boosted Dragon Blade, the Nano Blade, if you will, but he is making it work regardless. He does have a Dragon Blade ready and waiting should he decide to use it. Shiny Hero, though, does have the Valkyrie ready to defend against that. Jershi is hit with the Discord Orb, and now they focus their attacks onto him. Lots of damage coming his way, but he is being firmly healed up by the man on Mercy. There's that Valkyrie that I was talking about. It's come out very, very prematurely here from the side of Classified. Now there's the Dragon Blade going in. Oh, he misses the slash there onto Mercy. He's going to get the kill onto Jose. Dashes back in, resets it, hunting for the Mercy. Doesn't find him with the Dragon Blade. Mercy making full use there of the pack. And Mercy, Shiny Hero's going to 1v1 Marlo, taking him down. But Marlo, the job was done there in the end. It distracted Shiny Hero away from the rest of his team. No heals means no chance at all at pushing this cart, and a good hold in the end there from Mingyun.
It might have looked silly in a vacuum. It's like, where's this Genji dueling a Mercy? This seems a bit odd, but there is a method to it. Like you said, it distracted Shiny Hero long enough to sort of distract their attention away from the objective. And that was how Mingyun was able to stabilize in the second go. And now they have a win condition. Get to the box, they win the series.
Yep, and it's not going to take a full cap either here, Cyberwares. This is very, very achievable here, considering what we've seen from Mingyun in the first 3 maps that have been plated up for us tonight. Their Lijiang Tower was absolutely supreme. They struggled a little bit on King's Row, losing that map, but again, on Horizon Lunar Colony, they just showed us why they are one of the #1 competitors here in the Quarantine Cup, brought to you by CappingTV. And I look, I don't want to say it's hard to pick them, but it really is. We know what Classified can do here, but the wind firmly in the sails here of Mingyun at the moment. And like I was saying, it's not going to take a full cap. It's going to take probably about 10 seconds of pushing the cart into the third phase here in Junkertown. I'm liking their odds.
Definitely a good set of parameters for Mingyun to keep in the back of their mind. But now the first test. The gates will open. They've got to get through the first phase, and looking at the defense, we're seeing almost a mirror of what happened in the round previous. We'll see how Mingyun will navigate this time.
So Classified taking a page out of the Mingyun book and firmly planting themselves up on the high ground just to the left of the bridge choke point. Nobody going down just yet. No defense on the cart at all. They are going to opt for that choke point. Now Buggerlug's on the cart. We're not seeing the pirate ship strat, so a single tear is rolling down my eyes. But regardless, let's see what Classified can do. The attacking team, Mingyun, managed to get the first kill. Widow on Widow action. It's Blur taking down Shose, and that will prompt Shiny Hero into the revive. But Silver gets Marlow, so well done there. Using the Hanzo with precision there. And one frag going the way of them means they've got a 5v6 advantage. Do Team Classified at the moment. And here come Mingyun though. They've thrown down the Immortality Field on top of the cart. Probably taken down by Jershi and the rest of Classified, but still nobody going down. Prompts to the supports here, keeping everybody alive. And Chance here on the Sigma getting it done as well. Fantastic barrier work from him.
That is very true. Both the barriers and the supports are getting tested. Marlow will lose the counterpart fight against Silver though, cupping a arrow right into his head and into his skull, and that might be when Mingyun will decide to pull the plug, unless Blur can get everybody distracted long enough to get the cart moving. So on the back of just a little bit of a surprise for Classified, this cart's going to keep moving, and Mingyun are oh so close to getting the first checkpoint, but that comes with a caveat. Classified can get back into position and keep this fight going for a long time, and they've got a lot of tools to do it.
Good Dragon Strike coming out there from Silver, forcing the rest of Mingyun off the cart, and that allowed Classified to come through their choke points of choice, but it was not going to be enough in the end. The payload is going to be knocking on the door of Junkertown. They're going to be going into this second phase. You heard the announcer, ladies and gentlemen, team kill going the way of Mingyun there. It was a good start by Silver, but just not followed up by the rest of Classified. 4 minutes, 10 seconds left for Mingyun to take this game out.
That is very, very true. Running into 4 minutes, like you said, and nobody on the cart to really deal with in terms of a defense. It looks like Classified waiting for the cart to get around the corner and wanting to deal with it there, but Silver going down is not going to help things. Marlow promptly dispatching of the Tracer, so for a brief period the defense is going to be short-handed, Kid Fox, and that is not what you want.
Correct, it is a long run back from spawn here if you are the defending side. Would a Dragon Strike coming out there just forcing the Classified lads on defense to reveal themselves. Immortality Field goes down thanks to Dian Cheng. Kirei manages to make it work though, gets the kill on Marlow, but Husky and Blua, they are not going down without a fight. Make that 4 kills going the way of Team Mingyun, and poor Classified. They are struggling here. The Dragon Strike comes out too little too late there from Shose. And with 4.5+ minutes on the clock here, you can see that gold box of victory very, very close here. Mingyun, they are salivating. They can taste victory. They can taste advancement here in the OEO Quarantine Cup, and it's only going to take mere meters for them to do it.
That is very true, and Classified are on the verge of being decrypted. Chance will go in with the power drop. It shows one of the damage dealers, one of the heavy hitters will be off of the table, and this last-ditch effort from Classified is falling apart right at the seams, Kid Fox.
Yep, it completely fell apart there, and that is going to be all she wrote. Mingyun, they get what they were hoping for. They comfortably, in the end, take out Junkertown. They struggled a bit on a couple maps, but regardless, we're going to look past that because their better play definitely outshone their worst play in the end there, Cyber Waste. And look, if that's worst play from Mingyun, I worry about what these other teams are going to have to go up against in the following rounds. But that's going to be game number 1, done and dusted here, Cyber Waste. What do you think of Mingyun's performance?
I'd say they have made a lot of people take notice, especially the DPS or not Mile of Blood. You also have to give a cap tip to Buggerlugs. He's been one of the strongest tanks that I've seen in the competitive scene for a long time, and that's why he has a lot of staying power, because he can basically spearhead a defense or an attack should he so desire. He's got that right amount of aggression where it's not overly aggressive, but it's definitely one to fear in the eyes of a tank. So Mingyun, they're going to be one to watch moving through the bracket.
They definitely are, and look, they're going to advance. Unfortunately for Classified, they are down and out, but they've definitely showed glimpses of promise there. Unfortunately, the DPS contingent of Mingyun was just way stronger. I mean, you really have to give a special mention to Blur, who played DPS so well. Marlowe did it when needed as well. Jiang Cheng on the support, his Baptiste, those immortality fields were thrown down with surgical precision there, and they kept his team alive in the most dire of circumstances. Classified just weren't able to make it work in their frontline department. I think we needed to see more from Silver. We needed to see a little bit more from Chose as well. Yes, they showed glimpses, but they were just outclassed in the end there by Mingyun Cyberwaste.
That's very true, but Classified will be a team to keep an eye on, because if I remember, they go to the lower bracket. That'll be one to keep an eye on.
It definitely will. So, look, that's going to be it from us to start things off here in the OEO Quarantine Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, shout out to our 180 plus viewers. Hope you guys have enjoyed what you've seen. Round 2 is going to be coming your way at around 7 p.m. AEST, and that will be Excalibur versus Memento Esports. Stay tuned for that one. Cyberwaste, I don't know about you, man, but I've had a fantastic time here. Guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you click the love heart icon up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Follow the Oceanic Esports channel. If you've loved our work, like once again, I'm Kit Fox. My Twitter is @KitFoxPuntin. Chuck me a follow. It would mean so much to me. Cyberwaste, I am Cyberwaste, again on Twitter. That would be all the love we need from you guys. Hopefully you guys have had as much fun as we have bringing you all this action. But like I was saying, stay tuned, 7 p.m. There's going to be more action right here on this channel, so please pull up a chair, crack a cold one with the boys, make yourselves comfortable, and we look forward to the pleasure of your company then. But for now, that is going to be Kit Fox and Cyberwaste signing off for Mingyun and Classified.